Hi, gang. It's Patrick.
And Adam.
Coming up on today's episode, we're keeping it casual and a little bit catty with another tea party. As always, we discuss the latest Disney news, and we close out the show with some quick D. All that and more on today's episode of Gays Do the D.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Adam, lemon ginger Hummel.
Tasty. Patrick, sugar lumps Kazuki.
I take no sugar with my tea, I'll have you know.
You're keeping that figure so trim?
I'm going for gaunt, you know?
Oh, I know. We talked about it in last week's episode. How is that journey going for you? Are you maintaining? Are you feeling quite frail?
I'm maintaining something, Adam. I'll tell you what. It's been a real journey to nowhere, is what I'll say.
Well, you're perfect just the way you are, so you need not touch a single thing.
Thank you so much, Christina Aguilera.
Was that a song of hers?
You are beautiful. It's just what it reminded me of.
Did I say that? Did I really say that?
I didn't go so far as to say that you're beautiful. Oh, dear. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Patrick. How are you?
I am great as well. I'll have you know I have not started packing yet, and that is a real gift to everyone in my house.
I'm so proud of you. That's progress. That is some kind of mental accomplishment for you, is it not? You've kind of crossed a barrier. You've crossed over the bridge.
That's right. That's right. It's a real carousel of progress over here at the Kazuki household.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful news. I haven't started packing yet either.
Well done. I am pleased to know that. Has Matthew started packing, though? That's the real question.
He has not as well, but can I admit something? Can I be very vulnerable right now?
It's just us, Adam.
I went on an Amazon shopping spree yesterday, and I bought so many things just to try on. I'll be returning most of it. But Patrick, the amount of money I spent on looks for our trip is obscene. And it's not even like cool looks, right? It's just like basic stuff that anyone should have in their wardrobe. But because we've been living in a pandemic, I've just completely avoided any kind of like clothing shopping. And so there were some things that I truly needed. And yesterday was an absolute mess. But hopefully my Instagram feed will benefit because I'll be looking so good.
Well, you know that we're only there for 4 days, yes, and we are going to be repping the pod as well with our GDTD shirts, so I'm not sure what you bought and why.
Well, you know, I loves me a trip back to the resort midday, so that might be a time for me to kind of refresh, you know.
Well, speaking of basic looks, Adam, there is a sale coming up for GDTD merch.
There is a sale coming up this Wednesday, September 22nd through Monday, September 27th. And Patrick and Tweedles, if there's anything you want to purchase, do it then, because items will be up to 35% off. That means $13 t-shirts, $20 phone cases, $30 hoodies, and more.
And more. I will be taking advantage of this because I'll tell you what, everybody, those hoodies are very comfy hoodies.
And we have some new designs that you may want to check out. You know what's been very popular is our Gravy Fries Canadian Guys shirt.
That's true. I feel like we need to come up with a slogan for every pavilion in the World Showcase.
That sounds like a lot of work.
It sounds like a lot of work, but it sounds like a lot of coin for us as well.
Well, not for us.
Well, that's true, Adam. What a great segue, because we donate 100% of the proceeds that come to us to a different nonprofit every single quarter. And right now, we are donating directly to the Trans Lifeline.
We are indeed. Trans Lifeline is a trans-led organization that connects trans people to the community, support, and resources they need to survive and thrive. And they have 2 toll-free phone numbers that people can call if they're in need of support. Those numbers are in the U.S. 877-565-8860. And in Canada, speaking of gravy fries and Canadian guys, the number is 877-330-6366.
Absolutely. And you can learn more or donate directly to the Trans Lifeline by going to translifeline.org. org. And I believe, Adam, this past month, we raised the most money we've ever raised in one single month.
We certainly did. We certainly did. So we're happy to be able to pass that along to Trans Lifeline after October, once we get our grand total. And to see our complete line of merch, it's not to be missed, everyone. You can head to our website at gaysdothed.com/merch.
That's right. Look at our fall collection.
We're actually doing spring summer right now. You know how like designers are always like a half year ahead? We're on spring summer.
That's right. For next year.
That's right. Yeah. So if you have any resort trips planned, check out that merch.
We have great resort wear. That's absolutely true.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, everyone who has purchased a item already. And speaking of our amazing Tweedles, Adam, we have 2 new Tweedles we have to give a shout out to.
We do. First up, Mitch. Mitch reached out to us via email. He's a relatively new podcast listener and stumbled upon our podcast and was brave enough to go back to episode 1. Okay, Mitch. Enjoy that, but I just want to remind you that there's no reason to go in order here. You can start with the freshest and then work your way back if you want.
What if he's like, oh, they keep getting worse?
Oh dear. Uh-oh. Yeah, maybe he likes that NPR styling we had back in episode 1.
Could be. Well, thank you, Mitch. We also have Matthew, who reached out to us on Instagram. Matthew Wavala? Is it Wavala?
I think it's Avala.
Oh, well, I'm very sorry, Matthew. I recommend going by Wavala because I like that better.
Consider it, Matthew. How great would that look on a state ID?
Matthew Wavala.
Matthew Wavala. And speaking of Matthew, he actually chimed in and commented on last week's episode, Patrick. That was our Fab 5 Muppets episode. We got a ton of feedback from all of our Tweedles.
Such a great segue, Adam. That's correct. I believe, maybe I'm mistaken, but this may be our most responded to episode in a long time.
It's been a while since you've all been so vocal. We so appreciate it. We love having these conversations with you. So going back to Matthew Wavala, as he's now known, Matthew said, "What a great episode and stellar lists, Patrick and Adam. I may have had my own commentary and a few gasps with both of you during my morning drive. I love when listeners gasp, Patrick."
That's what we're going for. We're going for gasps on this pod.
Matthew says, here's my list. Number 5, Fozzie Bear. Number 4, Swedish Chef. Number 3, Kermit. Number 2, Gonzo. And number 1, Miss Piggy.
What a great list. I don't disagree with any of those Muppets.
I agree with your lack of disagreement, Patrick.
Thank you so much. Moving on, we heard back from Mouse Ears and a Movie on Instagram. They say, Gonzo, forever and ever, amen, prayer hands emoji.
Chris, who you can find on Instagram at Wishful Thinking. Yeah, you know him, you love him. He's been on this podcast multiple times. Chris says, yay, in a Kermit-type voice, I'm assuming. Can't wait to listen, but to avoid being influenced by your surely sharp opinions, I'll share mine. Number 5, Swedish Chef. Number 4, Scooter. Number 3, Beaker. Number 2, Janice. And number 1, Miss Piggy. Chris gives honorable mentions to Ernie, Big Bird, Oscar the Grouch, Animal, and Cookie Monster.
Ooh, added some Sesame Street characters to the mix. I like that. Well done, Chris. Moving on, we have Gray-Eyed Woofy on Instagram saying, the husband loves Swedish Chef. I'm a huge fan of Sam Eagle, which is ironic considering I'm the exact person he would disapprove of on the show. Are you anti-American, Gray-Eyed Woofy? No judgment. No judgment.
You know, Sam Eagle, Patrick, he's kind of hot, right?
I understand what you're saying, but I also am grossed out by it at the same time.
There's broad shoulders. There's kind of that stoicism that can be very attractive. Mr. Darcy-like stoicism to Sam the Eagle. I just find him kind of attractive.
He definitely voted for Reagan, though. That's the thing.
Probably voted for Reagan, but did not vote for Trump.
Who can say? Who can say? As long as you vote, everybody. No, I don't believe in that, actually. I don't believe in that statement.
Moving on, Chris, who you can find on Instagram at SkinCarverNat, says, loved this episode. Would you guys consider Sesame Street characters as Muppets? Because I'm hugging Cookie Monster. Yes, we do consider Sesame Street characters as Muppets, but we were only dealing with Disney-related Muppets. But I mean, Cookie Monster, who doesn't love Cookie Monster?
That's absolutely true. In fact, actually, fun fact, the Sesame Street gang are Muppets, but they license the name Muppets from Disney now.
Wait, so Disney owns the Sesame Street Muppets?
They don't own them. They only own the actual trademark, the Muppets. And so Sesame Street actually pays a royalty to Disney to call their gang the Muppets.
Got it. Totally makes sense. By the way, Chris, we should mention that hugging Cookie Monster is the phrase that sugar addicts use. Oh, I'm hugging Cookie Monster. Somebody help me.
I like it. That's a fact. That is an absolute fact. Moving on, we have Adam, not our Adam, but a different Adam, writing into us on Twitter, who knew we had a Twitter, at APAT10, saying, Miss Piggy, Gonzo, Janice, Rizzo, and Fozzie. Great list, Adam.
No surprise, Piggy's making multiple appearances in our feedback. Derek, who you can find on Instagram at boywhohaseverything. I tried.
You got there at the end.
Yeah. I tried. Derek says, I want to love the Muppets, but their chaotic nature has always stressed me out, not to mention being absolutely terrified by Muppet Treasure Island as a kid. Even Kermit, who I generally enjoy, can frustrate me with his overly passive pushover ways. I guess I'm just a Sesame Street boy at heart. Wait, are those Muppets? Already clarified, they are, in fact, Muppets.
The Muppets are very chaotic. It's true. If you are prone to anxiety, the Muppets may not be for you.
Yeah, let's say you're type A. Maybe you're not a Muppet fan. That's okay.
That is absolutely okay. Moving on, we have Parker on Instagram, ADV Parker, saying, awesome episode, but you knew that already. Duh, that's a fact. My Fab 5 Muppets are number 5, Uncle Deadly, number 4, Janice, number 3, Fozzie, who shares my love for dad jokes, Waka Waka, number 2, the truly iconic Miss Piggy painting fingernails emoji. Number 1, Rizzo the Rat, my fave Disney rodent, after Mickey, of course. He's just a fun and hilarious character. And we all know I have a weakness for Italians. Red face crying emoji. I've never seen that one before, but thank you so much, Parker. Hashtag light the lamp, not the rat. Such a great quote.
I think it's hot emoji, like hot and bothered emoji.
Oh, he's hot and bothered. I like that. I've never seen that before. A new one for me here on the pod.
Very important that we define these emojis correctly, Patrick.
So important.
Next up, we heard from Rob, who you can find on Instagram at zippitydoo.days. Rob says, I can't resist a good Fab 5. I love your choices, although they don't entirely dovetail with mine, which are Statler and Waldorf, Sweetums, Sam the Eagle, Sam, Pepe the King Prawn, and Rolf the Dog. Rob says of Rolf, he's smart, funny, and definitely the most talented of all the Muppets, although Dr. Teeth and the band are a close second. Rob goes on to say, but also this episode gave me a great idea. Wouldn't Muppet Haunted Mansion make a great seasonal overlay? Start with Kermit sitting on the ledge in the stretching room giving the opening narration, then changing portraits of Muppets in the hall, Janice in the crystal ball in place of Madame Leota, Uncle Deadly playing the organ, Statler and Waldorf as the dueling portraits, Miss Piggy blowing out the candles, the attic scene as Mad Bunsen Honeydew's lab with Beaker as a Frankenstein monster rising from the dead, Gonzo as the graveyard caretaker, and Fozzie, Dr. Teeth, and Sweetums as the hitchhiking ghosts. Finally, Pepe takes Little Leota's place at the exit. I would ride it.
I love this. You just imagine queered the heck out of that ride.
Yeah, that would absolutely be a great overlay, and I think something a lot of Disney fans would really appreciate.
I, for one, would really appreciate that. Moving on, we have Mark on Instagram, Mark-a-phone, saying, this was a fun episode. Made me want to watch Miss Piggy on roller skates chasing the mugger in Central Park. Crying, laughing emoji.
We all remember that scene, right, in Muppets Take Manhattan, when her eyes kind of cross.
Iconic. So funny.
And last but not least, we received an email from Auntie Myrna, who says, let me start by saying what an absolute gosh darn delight this episode was. Gave me all the happies and all the feels. These foam entities helped entertain and shape so many lives. Chef's kiss for making this pod. Thank you, Auntie Myrna. Heart emoji, happy face emoji. She actually spelled those out. I appreciate it. All of your choices were spot on, and although I would agree that Kermit has to get the obligatory number one spot, I was very happy with Adam's contribution for the numero uno. I will say I have a soft spot for Scooter. I feel he is always on the cusp of coming out of the closet. Great point, Auntie Myrna. He is so sweet and dresses so snappy, and his stylish glasses. On the flip side, I adore Animal. Something about those unhinged bad boys that like to be tied up. What? And then she goes on to spell out eggplant emoji, drooling emoji, laughing, crying emoji. Also, shout out to Lou Zealand, the fish-throwing Muppet. He's so silly. Thank you so much for all the smiles and laughs you bring to this world of ours. XOXO Myrna.
Oh, I love that. Also, yeah, Scooter, he is sort of that, is he gay? Is he not gay? Who can say?
He's got the look. He's got the smarts. He's got the talent.
He's a hot nerd. You know what I mean?
Hot gay nerd.
Into it. Well, thank you so much, everybody. That was great. We love hearing your feedback. Keep it coming.
And before we move into This Week in Disney History, we also received a voice memo from our friend Daniel, who you can find on Instagram at DanCoDirect. Daniel has some things to say about last week's Quick D, in which Patrick and I imagine queered the Haunted Mansion.
And he had a suggestion for us. Let's listen to what Daniel has to say.
Hey, Adam and Patrick. This is Daniel calling from Los Angeles. I was just listening to your delightful episode on the way home from the theater, and I had two thoughts that I thought I would share with both of you. The first is, not related to the episode, I was wondering if you two had ever thought of creating a Discord channel or a Discord community for the Tweedles. We all love Disney, we love the show, we love y'all, and it could be a nice way for us to connect on, the things that we love about Disney, favorite movies, favorite characters. We can share pictures from our trips to the park. We could share our favorite Disney foods and all of that. But it could also be a really fun way to connect on trips to the parks, right? So we could say, oh, I'm going to be in Disneyland on these dates, or I'm going to be in this park on those dates. Is anyone else going to be there? And it could be a really fun way to connect. Other podcasts that I listen to have Discord channels for things like this, and I just thought it might be an interesting idea to toss out there. My second thought had to do with the very, very important Imagine queering of the Haunted Mansion, of course. And I think a key point that both of you sadly missed is that in the last room, I think instead of hitchhiking ghosts, we really need hitchhiking gays. And I think even more importantly, every doom buggy should get at least one hitchhiking gay that follows us home. A gay will follow us home. Just wanted to throw that out there. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.
Daniel, you listen to other podcasts? How dare you?
Fantastic suggestions. What's a Discord channel?
Well, I think we are a Discord channel, aren't we already, Adam?
We're known for creating Discord, certainly, but is it like a chat thing on the internet?
On the interwebs? I think it is. I think it's a chat community situation.
Okay, yeah, we should do something like that because there's so many Tweedles that we know have connected via the pod, so it'd be great to kind of give them all one place to gather together where they will undoubtedly rise up against us, Patrick, and bring us down.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I believe, Daniel, you are volunteering to start that Discord channel.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. So...
I don't have any idea. So if you want to help us out, please do so.
And as far as your suggestion for our Imagine Queered Haunted Mansion ride, that sounds brilliant. Yes. Who doesn't want a gay to follow them home?
That old story.
We did, after all, turn the graveyard into a disco, so it totally makes sense that maybe the end of the ride is the 2 a.m. lights on after bar experience. And a gay just attaches him or herself to you to follow you home.
Yep. that happens quite frequently. Well, thank you so much, Daniel.
And Patrick, that takes us into This Week in Disney History.
It does indeed, Adam. Thank you so much for that segue. Let's get into it. 11 years ago, Adam, on September 21st, 2010, Tinkerbell received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, coinciding with the DVD release of Tinkerbell and the Great Fairy Rescue, which incidentally was an alternative name for this podcast.
I didn't know Tinkerbell had a star on the Walk of Fame.
She does indeed. It's adorable, adorable, adorable. Moving on, 37 years ago, Adam, on September 22nd, 1984, a controversial decision for some, love him or hate him, Michael Eisner was elected chairman and CEO of Walt Disney Productions, now, of course, known as the Walt Disney Company, replacing Ray Watson. Michael Eisner was, of course, famously known as the Money Man, making cuts and investing heavily in PR for the company. When he was elected, Disney was roughly $900 million in debt, and by 1987, it was worth $340 million. Though he had a knack for business, he was not loved by everyone, particularly those in the company and on the board. In fact, in 2004, Roy Disney, Walt's nephew and Roy O. Disney's son, famously resigned his seat on the board in protest of Michael Eisner's handling of the company, and in March of 2004, 43% of Disney shareholders expressed a lack of confidence in Eisner. So Eisner stepped down, and in 2005, Bob Iger succeeded him. Fun fact, today, Disney is worth roughly $140 billion.
Yeah, such a controversial person, but saved the Walt Disney Company, right? I mean, before he came on board, the company was going to be split up and sold into various kind of factions.
Yeah, absolutely. And basically, we can thank Michael Eisner for the parks as we know them today. He invested heavily in the Disney parks, and because of him and his influence, we have these extraordinary parks around the world.
Yeah, he really did invest in providing guests with a truly magical experience. Like, he wanted people to feel like they were in the movies when they came to the Disney parks, and so we do have to thank him for that.
We do. However, he did water down Disney a lot as well. And so when he left, they sort of tightened it up and made it very expressly Disney. But Michael Eisner, what an interesting moment in Disney history.
Come on the pod, Michael. Let's have a chat.
Explain yourself. Michael Eisner, explain yourself. Well, let's move on, Adam, to the last item on This Week in Disney History. 113 years ago, on September 20th, 1908, writer Lowell S. Hawley was born in Linden, Washington. Hawley authored the 1951 bestseller A Few Buttons Missing, the case book of a psychiatrist. Hawley then, interestingly, went on to become a writer for the Walt Disney Studios from 1957 until he retired in 1969. Credits for Hawley include Zorro, The Swiss Family Robinson, Babes in Toyland, In Search of the Castaways, and the one and only Genuine Original Family Band, just to name a few.
Wow, what a pivot as a writer, or seemingly so anyway.
Yeah, it was an interesting sort of side note in his career because he was an author of many books up until he started writing for Disney, interestingly, for just over 10 years, and then he retired.
Get that Disney money and then get out. That's the lesson.
That's what we're doing right now here on this pod.
Where's the money, Patrick? Where is it?
I have not seen a dime, not one dime.
Well, thank you, Patrick, for putting together those notable mentions for This Week in Disney History. And that means now, Tweedles, it's time for us to head into the Disney news. Believe it or not, we are days away from Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary celebration, and that means that Magic Kingdom's brand new nighttime spectacular, Disney Enchantment, and Epcot's brand new nighttime spectacular, Harmonious, will be lighting up the skies before we know it. To make guests' magical evening even more special, a new lineup of appetizing occasions will be returning just in time for the world's most magical celebration. From sweet treats to International Fare, there's no shortage of options for making the most of your nighttime spectacular experience. First up, Patrick, there's a full menu of dessert party options accompanying Disney Enchantment within the Enchanting Extras collection, because why watch fireworks like a commoner, right?
Am I right?
I'm right. Beginning on October 2nd, 2021, Celebration at the Top, 50th flavors and fireworks at Disney's Contemporary Resort will be offered. Guests will experience the private Sonoma and Napa rooms at California Grill, where a selection of specialty drinks, as well as sweet and savory small plates that pay homage to the original menu from the resort's opening in 1971 will be offered, as well as the opportunity to step outside to the observation deck on the 15th floor for a unique viewpoint of Disney Enchantment, complete with synchronized music. Reservations are now open for Celebration at the Top. Moving on, 3 Magic Kingdom 50th fireworks dessert parties at Tomorrowland Terrace will put guests right in the middle of the magic to view Disney Enchantment beginning on October 3rd. The Disney Enchantment pre-party, Disney Enchantment Treats and Seats, and Disney Enchantment After Party will include delicious 50th anniversary themed delights at different times throughout the evening. Drink selections will also be available, including an assortment of beer and wine for guests ages 21 and over. Guests of the pre- and after parties will have access to a reserved standing viewing location in one of the Plaza Gardens with prime viewing of Disney Enchantment. And guests of Disney Enchantment Treats and Seats will experience the fireworks views from the comfort of dedicated reserved seating at Tomorrowland Terrace Restaurant. Reservations for all 3 Magic Kingdom 50th fireworks dessert parties are now available. Next up, Fairy Tale Fireworks, a sparkling dessert cruise, has already set sail with reservations available for future dates. Guests can set sail from the Transportation and Ticket Center on one of the iconic ferry boats for a magical evening on the Seven Seas Lagoon, featuring a variety of bite-size signature sweets and specialty beverages with and without alcohol. And kids can participate in an ultraviolet scavenger hunt. During the cruise, guests can observe the Magic Kingdom Park fireworks accompanied by stunning water views. Now, let's head over to Epcot, where 2 new dinner package options will be available beginning on October 1st in World Showcase. Rose and Crown Fireworks Dining Package will offer guests classic British fare and stunning views of Harmonious from the pub's patio. This package features a prefix menu, including 1 appetizer, entree, dessert platter, and unlimited beverages. Reservations will be available beginning September 23rd. And the Spice Road Table Dining Package will feature a delicious meal under the restaurant's covered outdoor dining area with a stunning view of Harmonious. The Spice Road Table Dining Package includes 2 small plates, a dessert platter, and unlimited beverages. And like Rose and Crown's dining package, the Spice Road Dining Table Package reservations will be available beginning September 23rd. Advanced reservations are highly recommended for all dessert parties and dinner packages and can be made on DisneyWorld.com or the My Disney Experience app. And, as if you didn't know this already, for experiences located in Magic Kingdom Park and Epcot, valid theme park admission and park reservations are required unless you hop parks midday. That wasn't really explained via the Disney Parks blog post, but that's okay. They've got a lot going on right now. Patrick, what's speaking to you in this list of offerings? Are you pro dessert party? Are you anti dessert party? Are you thinking dinner and Harmonious? What's going on in that beautiful brain of yours?
I'll tell you what, I am a dessert party professional. I love a Disney dessert party.
How many you got under your belt?
Upwards of 3, I'll tell you.
Oh, that's a lot.
They're fun. They're actually a lot of fun, and I will say worth the investment.
I've actually never done a dessert party, but I have taken advantage of a dining package before that includes fireworks at Epcot, and that was also well worth the price.
Yeah, the dining packages are great as well. You do get an exceptional spot to view the fireworks, and I can give a shout out to both of those spots within Epcot. The patio in Rose and Crown is a perfect place to watch the fireworks, and Morocco is a beautiful spot to watch the fireworks from as well.
If you happen to be a competitive Tweedle and are going to be going after one of these dining packages for October 2nd, hop on the computer and see if you can get a reservation against me and Patrick.
Yeah, I'm already hitting the refresh button on the minute. With the recent success of Cruella, The Jungle Cruise, Black Widow, and Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings all released in theaters, Disney has decided to update their remaining slate of films scheduled for 2021 to all have exclusive theatrical releases. Each of the films will have a minimum of 45 days in the theaters before becoming available on Disney+, with the exception of Encanto. Encanto will be released in theaters on November 24th and then will be available on Disney+ this December 24th. The remaining film releases this year are Ridley Scott's The Last Duel, which will hit theaters on October 15th. 20th Century Fox will release Ron's Gone Wrong on October 22nd. Marvel Studios' Eternals comes out on November 5th. West Side Story, directed by Steven Spielberg and adapted by Tony Kushner, dance fights its way to theaters on December 10th. And The King's Men origin story, The King's Man, comes out on December 22nd. A quote from Chairman of Disney Media and Entertainment Distribution, Kareem Daniel: "Following the tremendous box office success of our summer films, which included 5 of the top 8 domestic releases of the year, we are excited to update our theatrical plans for the remainder of 2021. As confidence in moviegoing continues to improve, we look forward to entertaining audiences in theaters while maintaining the flexibility to give our Disney Plus subscribers the gift of Encanto this holiday season." We here at GDTD reached out to Scarlett Johansson for a comment, but as of this recording, we have not heard back yet.
Scarlett, please get back to us. We need to hear from you.
ScarJo, we are on the edge of our seats waiting to hear what you have to say about this.
You know, Patrick, we haven't really talked about the 20th Century films since Disney's acquisition of 20th Century Fox, but maybe that's something we can start to pepper into the podcast, because I watched that trailer for West Side Story and I am completely on board. It looks gorgeous.
I'm hooked. I'm hooked on it for sure. Yeah, it's definitely a studio that is not necessarily the Disney brand, but it is absolutely Disney. They purchased it. They own it. But much like we don't really talk about ESPN much on the podcast either.
What's ESPN?
A lot of hot dudes who play soccer. I think that's what ESPN is for me.
Why aren't we talking about ESPN on the podcast?
It's all I can think of.
From one news story about Disney films to another, Disney Studios is developing a reimagining of its 1986 sci-fi live-action feature, Flight of the Navigator. According to a September 15th Deadline article, the reboot will feature a female lead, with Pete's Dragon star Bryce Dallas Howard attached to direct and produce for Disney+. The original movie, starring Joey Kramer, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Veronica Cartwright, follows a boy who travels 8 years into the future from 1978 and has an adventure with an intelligent, wisecracking alien ship named Max. Paul Rubens provided the voice of Max in the film, which was released in late July 1986, grossing an uninflated $18.6 million at the domestic box office. Randall Kleiser, who directed Paramount's big hit Grease and The Blue Lagoon, directed the original Flight of the Navigator. The project reteams Bryce Dallas Howard with Disney Plus as a director. She previously helmed 2 episodes of Star Wars The Mandalorian, that's Chapter 4, The Sanctuary, and Chapter 11, The Heiress. And she also directed an episode of the upcoming spin-off series, The Book of Boba Fett.
Obsessed with Bryce Dallas Howard. Love her so much. I do. I know that you're laughing right now, but I really love her. I think she's amazing.
No, she's great. It's just unfortunate that Jessica Chastain also exists, right?
They're not the same person?
Yeah, I just blew your mind, didn't I?
A few fan-favorite experiences are returning to Disney World. Previously, we reported on some of the holiday experiences guests can expect this coming season at Walt Disney World, but the Candlelight Processional was not included in that list. This past week, however, Disney confirmed that the Candlelight Processional is in fact returning this year from November 26th through December 30th as part of the Epcot International Festival of the Holidays. The event was an opening year experience in Disney World, debuting in the Magic Kingdom in 1971 and then moving to Epcot in 1994, where it was an annual event, with 2020 being the only year it was not held. One difference this year is that due to safety concerns and cities with governors who are absolute idiots, outside choirs will not join any of the performances. Instead, the entire choir will be expanded to include only Walt Disney World employees, which means that the entire choir, the orchestra, and each celebrity guest will be fully vaccinated. No word yet on who the celebrity guests will be or which restaurants will offer the premium seat dining packages, but we do know that the return of the Candlelight Procession will be lit. You see what I did there, Adam?
I see exactly what you did there. I'm very proud of you. I guess this is the point in the podcast when we say, Disney, we're available.
They are indeed listening. Absolutely. I will clear my schedule. Another fully vaccinated cast is ready to return to the Disney World stage. Finding Nemo the Musical will be returning to Animal Kingdom in 2022. In a real roller coaster, or EAC ride, rumors were floating around that the show was permanently canceled. But this past week, Disney finally announced that the show would be returning in 2022. Adam, don't give me that shame look. And that the show would be reworked and reimagined with a mix of all new story material and fan favorite songs like In the Big Blue World and Go With the Flow, both written by Kristen Anderson Lopez and Robert Lopez. No word yet on if we can expect any new songs, as the reimagined show is still in early development. Stay tuned for more info as it's released into the Big Blue World.
Are you completely exhausted after coming up with all those puns?
I need a nap. After that.
This is interesting news. I mean, I like the show in Animal Kingdom. I'm surprised that they just didn't decide to do something completely new, but maybe that theater is just so finely tuned for that show that they didn't want to spend the money and they're just refreshing it.
Yeah, it is definitely a fan favorite. People love that show. I love that show specifically. I wonder if they're bringing it back and saying that they're reimagining it, but they're actually just making it more safe for the actors right now in these COVID times. Hard to know, but it's interesting. I wonder if they'll be incorporating maybe some of Finding Dory into the show. Who can say?
I would have loved it if they had announced a new show. You know, Disney and Pixar have so many properties. I mean, think about Up. Think about some kind of like Up production in that space.
Or even bringing back Tarzan. I would have loved to have seen the Tarzan experience.
Yeah, we know why you would have loved to have seen the Tarzan experience.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. He's hot. He's hot, Adam. Adam, Lemon, Ginger, Hummel, we have a lot to talk about.
That's right. Pinkies up, Patrick.
There is so much happening in the Disney community right now, especially because I'm not sure if you knew it, but the 50th anniversary is upon us here at Walt Disney World, which means so many stories are abuzz right now. And we decided to do a tea party episode to discuss all of the things that are happening right now in Disney.
And as with any tea party segment in the podcast, we like to include some scandalous stuff, don't we?
We do indeed. We need to sip and spill some tea.
I always feel a little bit of pressure when we do these segments because I want to provide just the right amount of sass. I feel like as a gay man, it's my responsibility to know things and be able to comment on pop culture and specifically for this podcast, Disney pop culture. So I'm a little nervous, but I'm also very excited, Patrick, to gab with you.
The community is counting on you, Adam.
Well, now I feel even more pressure.
No press. No press needed. Just be your precious self.
Thank you, Gollum. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. Patrick, what should we start with?
Such a good question. You're ready to dig in. You're ready to dive into the tea. Mm-hmm. Let's spill it right now. Let's start with something a little light, shall we? Because we have some heavy topics to talk about, actually.
Okay, so you're thinking like a watercress sandwich with some Earl Grey, just like a very kind of soft opening into this segment.
Absolutely. I love a soft opening. Speaking of which, let's talk about that Hawkeye trailer.
Let's talk about the Hawkeye trailer. Patrick, it premiered last week. What do you think?
Love it. Very excited about it. Very excited about it. It was a great trailer. It was a long trailer. It almost felt like, I was like, is this a movie or a TV show?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very interesting. I love the premise that it takes place over the holidays because I'm getting Die Hard vibes from it, and I love Die Hard, so this feels like it's going to be a real kind of merry adventure and a fun way to kind of start the holiday season.
Yes, very Die Hard. I think that was absolutely intentional on Disney's part. They are sort of steering all of these series in a way that they reflect other shows or movies that have happened in the past, and this is definitely the Die Hard of the series.
Yeah, and I like the idea that, or at least I got this from the trailer, that it feels like it's very encapsulated, like it feels like it maybe happens over 2 or 3 days or a week. Doesn't he say in the trailer, like, I'll see you next week or something to his kids? So it feels like it's going to be not this kind of epic scope when it comes to the timeline. It feels like it's going to happen over a couple of days.
Yeah, it's very Die Hard / the TV series 24.
Oh, that too. Yeah. I mean, Jeremy Renner, come on. Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye has not really had the spotlight when it comes to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so it'll be fun to see what he can do as the lead of a show.
Yeah, I will watch Jeremy Renner do anything, as we all know. Big crush on Jeremy Renner. I'm interested in the character of the girl who is in it. Her name escapes me, but she is the newest addition to the cast of Pitch Perfect. I can't remember her name. I'm so sorry. I could look it up, but I'm just that lazy. But interestingly, in the comic books, the new Hawkeye was Hawkeye's daughter. And so I'm interested to know, is this a daughter he didn't know he had, or are they changing the story a little bit? Who can say?
Oh, interesting. Her name is Haley Steinfeld. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. And she plays the character Kate Bishop. That's the name of the character.
Yes, absolutely. She's an amazing singer, so I wonder if we're going to have her sing in the show at all. But yeah, I'm interested to know what they do with that character. Is she, in fact, Hawkeye's daughter?
And it feels like they're preparing us for a farewell to Jeremy Renner, right? Like this is the character's swan song, and then she'll kind of take on the mantle of Hawkeye.
I think so. I think that Marvel Studios is amping us up for a Young Marvels sort of series or movie or spin-off of some kind with all of the new replacement characters coming into play.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm really excited for the series. It premieres on Disney Plus on Wednesday, November 24th. Patrick, that's your birthday eve.
My birthday eve. What a gift. What a gift I've given to all of you.
Truly, you can have some early cake and enjoy Hawkeye and Jeremy Renner's arms.
I'm enjoying all of those right now, in my mind at least.
All right, Patrick, well, let's get a clean cup and move it on down. We recently were treated, is that the right word, to an article, an August 30th article. It was written by The Guardian by Hadley Freeman, and she interviewed Frank Oz. The article title is Frank Oz on Life as Fozzie Bear, Miss Piggy, and Yoda. I'd love to do the Muppets again, but Disney doesn't want me.
Spill that tea indeed, Frank Oz. Thank you so much. I read the article. It's fascinating. It's interesting. We kind of purposely didn't bring it up in our last episode when we discussed the Muppets because it's not heavy, but it's just a little it's controversial a little bit, I would say, toward Disney.
Yeah, and sad too. I kind of got sad reading it because it seems like he really misses these characters that he helped create, and he just doesn't perform them anymore. I think not since 2007 has he performed with the Muppets.
Yeah, I got a little sad as well, but mostly sad for him.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
Here's what I would say. It sounds like he may have left a bad taste in Disney's mouth for Frank Oz, if that makes any sense. It almost sounded like, based on what he was saying, that we were just getting one side of the conversation and not both sides. So it sounds like he was not happy with what Disney was doing with the Muppets, which is fair. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but it sounds like he was very vocal about it, which maybe Disney was like, okay, I think we're done here. Let's shake hands and move on.
Yeah, he kind of talks about the watering down of the Muppets since Disney acquired them. In fact, here's a quote from Frank Oz in the article. He says, "There's an inability for corporate America to understand the value of something they bought. They never understood with us. It's not just about the puppets. It's about the performers who love each other and have worked together for many years," end quote.
And here's what I would disagree with. I actually don't think that Disney watered down the Muppets. In fact, I think they spiced them up a little bit and changed them a little bit. And I wonder if Frank Oz is just like, well, I'm not into change right now with the Muppets. I want them to be what they were and not what they can be in the future. And I think that's fair. You're like I said, you're entitled to your opinion, but I actually disagree. I think the Muppets are a little spicier than they were in years past.
That's a good point. Yeah, I used the word watered down. I do feel like they are different. I should have said different, I guess. There's a different kind of attitude with them and approach to how they're performed, I guess. And I think Mr. Oz, we're not that close, Frank and I, but Mr. Oz, I think maybe there's that kind of gauzy view of the past for him. You know, when we all look back on certain moments in our lives, you wish you could go back to those kind of perfect moments in your lives. And I would imagine that performing with Jim Henson and the Muppets was such a magical time in his life, but you can never go back, right? And so I think for him, there's this desire to do that, and it kind of comes through in the article.
Yeah, that's fair. But I would say, were they perfect, though? I don't know, because there were a lot of things that happened on The Muppet Show that would not fly today. And I wonder if that's what he means by saying that they're not the same. It's true, they're not the same, because we can't say some of these things anymore. And that's good. We shouldn't be saying some of these things anymore. We should be evolving and changing. And to me, it sounds like he's saying, well, if we can't be as raw as we were before, then what's the point in doing it? And it's like, well, you can still be funny and be politically correct as well.
I didn't take it as like being politically correct or not. I was just reading into it that he was kind of longing for that sense of community and friendship and family he had with the other Muppets performers.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think Disney is just, they have to be careful with the Muppets with what they say. You know what I mean? And so if you can't really have that same vibe anymore. I think it has to be a little bit different, and it has to be a little bit managed better as things are different today. So yeah, who can say? I would love to know both sides of the conversation. We only really get Frank Oz's side of the conversation in that article. And, you know, what he says is fair and it's true for him. And he didn't necessarily diss Disney, which is fine, but he definitely feels like they wronged him, which is interesting.
We'd love to learn more. Frank, come on the show.
Come on the show. You're not providing the voice of these Muppets anymore, so there's nothing to lose, Frank Oz.
Except his respect as an incredible director of really wonderful comedic movies. We're not saying you debase yourself by coming on Gaze to the D podcast, but wouldn't you debase yourself by coming on Gaze to the D podcast?
We do it to ourselves every single episode.
We do. It was a fascinating article, so check it out. Again, it was released by The Guardian, and the article's title was Frank Oz on Life as Fozzie Bear, Miss Piggy, and Yoda.
Well, Adam, let's clean cup move down to a little bit heavier of a topic. Let's just get into it, shall we? And talk about, as we are wont to here on Gaze to the D, vaccinations and COVID-19.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a part of like the national, international dialogue at the moment. And I know we've brought it up on the podcast before, but there's been some really interesting developments over the past few weeks when it comes to Disney's approach to how they're handling the pandemic and specifically the messaging they're providing to guests who may be coming to Disney resorts or cruises and what they need to do before they can enjoy the experiences.
That's right. Yeah, Disney is, I will say right now, I'm thankful for, sort of putting themselves right now into the forefront of requiring people to be vaccinated. And they're dipping their toe even more so now with some of their recent rule changes in regards to a couple of resorts and the cruise line, as you said. Specifically, Aulani, a Disney resort and spa, is now requiring guests to provide proof of COVID-19 vaccination or a negative test taken within 48 hours to dine on the property. Now, I don't think this means that you have to be vaccinated to stay there, but if you want to use their facilities, you have to provide proof of vaccination.
That's interesting. Why wouldn't they just commit to having guests provide proof of vaccination or a negative COVID-19 test to stay? Like, I don't understand why it's just the dining facilities.
I'm not sure either. I imagine it has something to do with, I'm maybe using this word wrong, inoculation into the community that's there, because anyone can dine there,
right?
And just come in and out. And so I think if they need to shut down, they may want to be aware of everyone who's there and what their status is and all of that. I'm not really sure on all of it. It's a tea party, right? We're just sort of talking and guessing and speculating, but I think that has something to do with it.
No, I think that makes sense. Yeah. People who are residents of the island are invited to enjoy the facilities as well, right? Like the restaurants and things on property. And it would make sense that they would want to not only keep those people safe, but then also keep their guests safe. And I know Hawaii has been very, very restrictive because it is so isolated, and for an outbreak to happen there would just be catastrophic.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I believe Hawaii, I may be wrong on this, someone correct me if I am wrong, but I believe they have a mandate for all restaurants in Hawaii to have a proof of vaccination before you can even go into the restaurant. So I think Disney is just sort of inviting that mindset into their community as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. In a post on Aulani's website, it says, please visit the City and County of Honolulu's Safe Access Oahu website for more information. So they're clearly kind of following the lead of the city and the county.
Right, because I think resorts can kind of decide what they want to do. They're not necessarily beholden to what the county and the city and the state at large wants to do. But Disney is just sort of saying, yeah, we're on board. We're going to do it as well.
I'm on board too. I agree with this, and I think it's a smart move. And Patrick, you mentioned that Disney Cruise Line has also updated their policies, and now guests 12 years old and older are required to be vaccinated, while guests 11 years old and under must provide proof of a negative COVID-19 test result between 3 days and 24 hours before their sail date.
Yes. Absolutely. I'm fully on board with this. Can you imagine anything more catastrophic than another outbreak on a cruise line?
I have no understanding of why people would want to cruise right now, because it seems like during normal times, I'm putting that in quotes, often illness can break out on a cruise ship. And so to be cloistered, maybe that's not the right word, on a cruise ship, but anyway, to be on a cruise ship right now seems like just not a good situation. Am I wrong in this? Is cruising so enjoyable that it gets put above your health and safety?
I would, on the flip side, say it's probably the safest time ever right now to be on a cruise line, because people are being tested so often and there are all of these restrictions. And let's be clear, a lot of it is outdoors as well on a cruise ship. I would imagine, I may be very wrong on this, I'm not a scientist, but I play one here on the podcast. It might be just as safe, if not safer, than being on an airplane right now.
That's a good point. But there's no buffets on an airplane.
There is if you sit with me.
Oh, you bring your own snacks.
I bring my own snacks on an airplane. I don't. In fact, I hate when people bring their own snacks because they usually don't smell very good.
So Disney is offering guests who want to cruise at this time kind of three options, right, for how they can be tested. Guests can get an independent test and provide proof of a negative result, provided that they can receive the test result before they cruise. Guests can also use the Safe Passage website to purchase a test from Disney Cruise Line's third-party vendor, Inspire Diagnostics, but that'll cost them $98.
Yes, that's a good point. We should say that Disney is enforcing this rule. There are no exceptions to it, and it does come at your own cost. So you do have to pay for it. Disney is not required to provide the test for you.
And then guests can also schedule a test at a testing facility in Central Florida 1 to 3 days before their sail date.
Yes, absolutely. So there's a lot more planning that needs to be in place before you go on a Disney cruise line, which is why I actually, by my point before, I think it may be the safest time ever to go on a Disney cruise.
Yeah, you may be swaying me, Patrick. Maybe we're making the absolute wrong choice in going to Walt Disney World for the 50th, and we should be taking a cruise instead.
Why can't we do both?
What do you think, Patrick? I'm rich. I'm a rich human.
Well, I don't think that, Adam, but we are rich in Tweedles who can donate directly to Gaze to the D by going over. No, that's not what the money's
for.
for.
Us.
Okay.
The money does not go to us, Tweedles.
Got it. Fair enough. Well, let's keep this conversation going, Adam, in something that's a little bit more controversial. We're getting a little heavier here, spilling some more tea. Some Walt Disney World cast members recently protested the mandatory vaccine mandate that is sort of bestowed upon all employees of Disney World right now.
That's right. Cast members are required to receive at least the first dose if they're doing the 2-dose vaccine by last Saturday. And if they choose to have the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine, they have until basically early October because cast members are required to be vaccinated by October 22nd.
That's right, fully vaccinated.
Yes. So there was a small group of protesters, very small, about 25, we think, that marched kind of near Walt Disney World last week. And the event was organized by a cast member named Nick Caterano, who told Orlando's Fox affiliate, that's Fox 35, quote, "We understand that COVID-19 is a very real health concern and that we all have to take seriously, but many cast members have a legitimate basis for refusing the vaccine," end quote.
Thank you so much, Nick. Listen, we're going to give some opinions here, and so be it. I think you all listening know where we stand on this topic. I believe when we reported this, and Disney has been pretty vocal about it, they are allowing some exceptions. So they are allowing people with very real religious concerns or medical concerns, some substitutes. I think they need to be tested a lot more frequently if they're not going to get the vaccination. So I don't know that Nick, I don't know that you have a lot of ground to stand on here right now. So good luck with that protest. It sounds like it was not heavily attended or taken super seriously. I'm getting a little brash right now, but I don't understand where they're coming from. I don't get it.
I get the medical concern. Obviously, if you have a medical issue that is preventing you from getting the vaccine, I understand that. I really do not understand the religious aspect at all because, and I'm saying this as a non-religious person, but aren't most religions supposed to be about caring for your fellow human beings? And one way you can do that is to get vaccinated to ensure you don't infect and or kill them.
Yeah, to be clear, I actually understand where they're coming from. I want to understand where they're coming from is what I should say. But as I said before, Disney is allowing you to have those opinions and making exceptions and giving you a path forward. So I don't get what they're protesting because Disney is saying, great, if you're not going to get vaccinated and you can prove to us why you're not going to get vaccinated, then you at least have to get tested a lot, is what I understand by Disney, and you have to pay for it yourself because these are our rules. And so I'm not sure what they're protesting here. Disney has already addressed this for them.
Yeah, and every Walt Disney World union has also stated that they are in favor of this mandatory vaccination for cast members. So it's very strange. It's a mindset that I can't key into. And Patrick, I think you've kind of voiced this as well. It's just, I don't quite get it, especially now that we're so far into having the vaccine and clearly the side effects are what? Like Nicki Minaj aside and her cousin's swollen testicles or whatever she said on Twitter, which was absolutely not true and proven to be a falsehood. Like, what are the side effects that people are experiencing? What's the issue here? Are these people afraid of needles? Is that it? Because I will hold your hand while you get the shot. I will distract you. Is that a service I can provide? I'm really confused.
I think we know what their point is without really saying out loud. I think we know exactly what they're protesting. They're protesting the current president. They're protesting their beliefs are being held under fire. It's absolutely ridiculous. And let's not forget that people in schools have to be vaccinated for so many more things than just COVID-19. Yeah. So why this? We know what you're saying without saying it. In my opinion, stop it. Have a seat. Have several seats.
I know we're harping on this, but it's just getting exhausting at this point. And we're all getting so frustrated, those of us that have been vaccinated, those of us who are ready to move on from this. And to have these stories keep popping up and these people who are so stubborn and clearly unable to see beyond themselves and take the leap in protecting others, it's just getting to the point of madness.
Yeah. To put it in just a short nutshell, we're tired of doing the work and letting other people reap the benefits of that work.
Yes, we did the homework and you didn't, and you need to be failed.
And that's how we see things right here on Gaze to the T.
I do want to point out, one protester was carrying a sign that said, "My dream has become my nightmare."
What?
Get over yourself. Get over the dramatics and the hysterics. Get a shot in your arm. Get 2 shots in your arm and move on.
You're the nightmare, sir. You're the one who's the nightmare.
It was a woman. How dare you, Patrick?
Oh, sorry. I in my head, everyone who's terrible is a white man. So
yeah. So frustrating.
So frustrating. Well, let's clean cup, move down before we start yelling at each other more about things that we already believe in. Let's get on with it, Adam. What should we talk about next?
Let's talk about a recent announcement from Disney Parks. Rise of the Resistance is moving to standby only beginning September 23rd.
Very interesting. Very interesting. I did some praying on this, Adam, and I am proud of Disney for making this decision, especially with the upcoming 50th anniversary.
Yeah, it feels like they're kind of moving to a very neutral space with parks and experiences for the 50th. It feels like they want to create the most unencumbered experience, and by kind of removing fast passes and moving to standby only for things that previously required a boarding group, they really just want to provide everyone with kind of like an equal opportunity to enjoy the park's attractions.
I think that's exactly right. It sounds like they want to make sure that everybody has the same opportunity to experience everything within the Disney parks right now in Walt Disney World, especially for the 50th. Can you imagine having planned this trip for so long, and this might be your only time to go to Walt Disney World, especially for the 50th anniversary, and not be able to go on a ride that maybe that's the one thing you wanted to do. And it all relies on whether or not you opened your phone quicker than somebody else. You know, I feel like that would be very disappointing for somebody. And so I'm glad that Disney is letting everyone have the same access to all that they provide.
I would imagine, too, they want to make it as easy as possible on their cast members as well during this time, which is likely going to be exceedingly busy, and they want to keep their stress levels down as well.
Absolutely. In fact, they're not even offering as you mentioned in your news story, they're not even offering the dessert parties during the 50th anniversary itself in Magic Kingdom.
Right. Yeah, they kind of start on October 2nd as opposed to starting on October 1st, the actual anniversary of the resort, which I thought was an interesting choice. I get it, but I'm also curious why that decision was made.
I think they're hearing a lot of fan feedback right now that Disney has recently started to sort of separate the haves and the have-nots right now with a lot of experiences. And I think that people who are going to be in the Magic Kingdom already planned so far in advance to be in the Magic Kingdom on the 50th anniversary that they don't want to yet again separate people from people who have the money to spend on it and the people who don't have the money to spend on it. I think everyone gets to have the same equal opportunity. That's my lofty way of explaining it. Probably it has something to do with money. Who can say?
Probably comes down to money. Yeah.
And like you said, just wanting to unencumber all of the cast members who are going to be, I imagine, taxed very heavily on that day emotionally.
Cast members will be taxed. We'll be taxed. It'll be a very taxing experience.
It will be. And we should give a shout out again. We will be there in the Magic Kingdom on the 50th anniversary. So if you're going to be there, let us know. We want to see you.
We do indeed. All right, Patrick, Fresh Cup, move it on down. Let's stick with attractions, but this is an interesting story that came out. Not much is known yet, but we did receive word that Disneyland is going to kind of revamp its Roger Rabbit Toontown ride by giving Jessica Rabbit a more relevant central role in the attraction.
Yeah, I like this. She's sort of being given the red treatment, as it were, on Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes, all we kind of know at this point is that Jessica is now going to be a private eye, determined to stamp out a Toontown crime wave.
Interesting. And more importantly, I think they're also just removing her from scenes within the ride in which she was sort of just cast as a damsel in distress and even bound up in some scenes, which is problematic. Let's be very clear about that. I know it does actually happen in the movie, so it's also part of the story, which a lot of people are sort of up in arms about. But again, have a seat, everybody. Let's let's change things for the better. Can we just?
Yeah, and I think hopefully anyway, Disney's still going to let her be Jessica Rabbit, right? Like, she is a voluptuous, powerful woman who happens to be wearing a somewhat skimpy, sparkly red dress. And I think a lot of people really love her, right? Because she is so intelligent in the film and is clearly kind of the brains of that relationship. So there's a lot of dimensions to Jessica, and they can all be explored. She is not just big boobs and a pretty face.
Turns out a woman can be everything at the same time.
So she's going to be taking on the mantle of private eye. She's going to be a private dick, Patrick.
Interesting. I'm excited about this. I actually really like that ride. It's a unique ride, I would say, and doesn't get enough attention.
I like it too. I'm thoroughly confused by it every time because it is so manic. Like, you are spinning, things are happening. I don't really know where I should be looking. I'm not really entirely sure what the storyline is, but I've always enjoyed myself on it. And I'm excited to see the new direction they're going to take it. And I think it'd be fun too to kind of use this as a jumping off point for more Jessica. Like, let's have more Jessica and Roger and all those great characters, maybe on Disney Plus, or maybe a new series where Jessica is a private eye. Like, that'd be really fun.
I would love that. I'm hoping that's the direction they go in, is expanding the Who Framed Roger Rabbit sort of franchise, which they've always wanted to do. Disney has always wanted to do a part 2 of that film, and it never really came to fruition. And it's such a great story, and there's such wonderful characters that came out of it.
Yeah, I would imagine it's just so complicated with like the various studios that were involved in the production. But it'd be great to have some kind of, even if it's so small, like even this ride is a great just kind of moment where we get to visit that world once again.
Yeah, the licensing behind it was an absolute nightmare, but Disney created a lot of their own characters, and you could just use those characters and get rid of all the other ones. And it would just be delightful, I think.
Yeah, so it'll be exciting to see how this ride is updated and see Jessica get her moment in the spotlight.
A moment in the spotlight. Well, this is an interesting segue. Let's Fresh Cup move down, because we know that D23 is finally going to be happening next year. In fact, 2022. It was put on hold for a while. And as we all know, D23 announces a lot of things. Do you think that Who Framed Roger Rabbit might get an announcement at the upcoming D23?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it's very possible. You mean regarding the attraction?
Regarding the attraction, or maybe an announcement regarding a TV series on Disney Plus, Adam. This is a topic I put in here. What do you think we can expect at the upcoming D23?
Okay, this is Patrick and Adam's blue sky moment. Yes, it'd be great to hear anything about Roger Rabbit. I also think it's going to be heavily influenced by the release of The Little Mermaid, which we know now is coming out in May 2023. So I think maybe D23 is going to be our first peek at any kind of trailer for The Little Mermaid live action movie.
Such a great point. Just as they did for Frozen 2 when they had the entire cast come out and sing some songs, I imagine we're going to get that as well at the upcoming D23 for The Little Mermaid. I would love to see that. Do we need to go, Adam? Do we need to be there?
Oh, I didn't even think about it, but should we?
Why ever not? Let's just go. Let's just do it. I am a D23 Gold member, after all.
Gold member. So you can get us into all the very exclusive panels?
Well, I can get in line for all of the exclusive panels.
Yeah, I don't know how my anxiety would hold up at a D23. Like, would I be anxious the entire time with all those long lines? And will we get in? Will we not get in?
Yes, you will. You will be very anxious.
Thank you for answering that. That was so very kind of forward of you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, if anything is certain in life, that is one of life's certainties, is that Adam will be very anxious at D23.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. I will be. But it would be exciting, and it's always so fun to hear the announcements from Disney. I wonder if there is going to be some kind of major announcement, a very big announcement it seems like it would be a perfect time to do it because we'll be coming out of this trauma that we've all experienced via the pandemic. So it'd be great if there was some kind of major exclusive announcement from the company.
I think there will. I have a hunch, Adam. Go with me on this journey, if you will. I think in that the last time we had the big D23 announcements, they really gave us a look at Epcot and their plans to sort of refresh Epcot.
Yeah.
I imagine they're going to maybe make some corrections in what they're going to do to Epcot. I think they're going to like really say, okay, now here's what we can do in Epcot. But I have a feeling, and I think it's time, actually, that Animal Kingdom gets a little bit of a refresh. And I wonder if they're going to give Animal Kingdom a new treatment, as it were.
It would be a great time once Epcot wraps, right? Because the assumption is that people will be drawn to Epcot to experience all the new offerings there. So maybe the heat will be kind of taken off Animal Kingdom so they can focus on certain attractions that need to be repaired and also kind of develop some new offerings for guests.
Yeah, I think it's time. I think they've been sort of holding off on it, and I have a feeling they're going to be making a major update to Rafiki's Planet Watch, sort of where that little vet clinic is and the petting zoo and things. I think it's time that they put something else there.
Then again, we've been hearing that for how many years? Various people speculating that that's going to become a Zootopia style land. So we'll just have to wait and see. But we do know for fact that Primeval Whirl, the former attraction, has now been kind of boarded up. So they're beginning to take that down.
Yeah. Interesting. Dino Land USA might be getting a refresh as well. So more to come there. Other
than that, I'm sure we'll hear and see a ton about movies that they have coming out. They'll announce movies that haven't even been rumored to be in the works. You know, there's always kind of like one or two movies that they're like, and this is happening, and everyone's like, what? Where did that come from?
Right. Yeah. It'll be very Disney Plus forward. That's for sure.
For sure. Bob Chapek has said that it's about direct to consumer now. That's what the company's focusing on. So it will be all about Disney Plus.
All about it. Well, Adam, I think we've come to the last topic in our tea party today. Are you ready? We're going to fresh cup, move down, and discuss our upcoming trip to Walt Disney World. We teased it a little bit earlier on in the episode. Now it's time to talk about it. Let's get into it. Let's talk about our trip, Adam. Let's dream.
Let's dream big, Patrick. We've been talking about it for, forever, it seems like. But we are going to be there for the 50th. How are you feeling, Patrick? Are you prepared emotionally? And my main question is, what are your expectations, if any, for October 1st in the Magic Kingdom?
I expect to be treated like the princess I am, Adam.
Does that fall to me?
That falls to our travel party. So Paul and Bart, if you're listening, I expect to be hoisted upon your shoulders and carried around the park.
Got it. Great. Looking forward to that.
I am excited. I'm getting more and more excited about it. I was nervous. I will tell you, I've been nervous for a while. But now, I think because of my last trip to Disney and just sort of knowing what to expect going to the parks, I'm a lot more prepared than I was before. And I'm ready to walk away from things if I need to, if I'm just feeling anxious. But I'm ready to play. I'm ready to party with my friends and celebrate something that we all love and hold so dearly in our hearts.
Yeah, I'm excited to be there. I have not been since December 2019, so it'll be great to go back and be in a place that I love so much. My anxiety kind of has shifted from the pandemic to just not knowing what to expect. And Patrick, honestly, my expectations are so low for like what kind of experience we'll have that I think it may serve me quite well in that I'm just kind of expecting nothing. I'm expecting to be able to get into the Magic Kingdom. I'm expecting to not really be able to do any attractions because it's going to be so crowded. I don't know if that's an accurate read on what the situation is going to be, but that's how I feel. And I think it might end up benefiting me.
Yeah, that is a real expectation because, as you said, you're expecting nothing, and Disney has given us nothing right now in regards to the 50th, which I have to say, that is one thing I'm a little like, come on, just give us, and maybe they will. We still have 2 weeks to go as of this recording right now. Maybe they will give us a little bit more of what to expect, but I wish they would just help us plan that day specifically a little bit better. For those of us who have a parks reservation, can we leave the park and get back in? We don't know because, park hopping is an option. Are they just going to turn off park hopping for Magic Kingdom that day. So if you have a reservation already, you don't have to stay in the park from from morning till night, because that would be nice. I would like a respite, right? It's going to be a long day for a lot of people. And what better way to make people have a bad experience than to make them cranky all day long?
Yeah, absolutely. Do we even know, as resort guests, are we still able to get into the park a half hour early that morning?
On the website, it currently states that, yes, we will be getting in a half hour ahead of everybody else with a resort's stay. So what that means, I don't know. Are we going to get something extra? Anything special? Is there going to be an opening show? Who can say, or an opening ceremony? We don't know. But right now on the website, it's saying that we can get in 30 minutes early.
That's interesting, because my assumption is, given where we're at in the pandemic, that a majority of the guests that day will be locals. Does that sound like it might be right?
Hard to know, because you have to have a parks reservation, right? And that is only open to people who either A, have an annual pass, B, have a parks reservation, or C, have a valid ticket to Walt Disney World, right? And so I think that extra half hour is going to benefit us, actually, for the first time in a long time. When they do early magic hours, I think it's going to be a really low attendance for that first half hour.
Oh, I hope you're right. I mean, we've been seeing how low the attendance has been, even on your trip, Patrick. You know, you commented on how open the parks were. But again, I just go back to the fact that it is the anniversary. It's the 50th. People are going to want to be there.
Yeah.
So I just imagine it being maybe uncomfortably crowded, not jam-packed, but I will feel, I'm guessing, that people will just be a little too close, even outdoors.
Yeah, absolutely. For that first half hour, I think we're going to love it and enjoy it. But I think as soon as that clock ticks to 9 a.m. or whatever it is, it's going to be a little anxiety-ridden. I think it's going to be a madhouse. I think it's going to be a little bit crazy. I think we're crazy for going, but who knows? Who can say? I know that there are absolutely no reservations available for anywhere within the Magic Kingdom right now for dining, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So it'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting day for sure. I want to imagine that Disney is considering all of this and wants everyone to have the most magical day ever for their 50th anniversary.
Right.
But you can't account for other people. That's the thing, right?
That is the thing. And that's what I'm most worried about, are idiots who are going to walk into that space thinking that they're owed something, and they're owed absolutely nothing, right?
You're talking about me right now, right? You're looking right into my eyes.
I'm talking about you up on my shoulders and Paul's shoulders and Bart's shoulders as we carry you into the park. No, I'm talking about these fools, Patrick, who will expect far too much and not really take into consideration everything that's going on right now with the pandemic and with physical distancing and like just things that are very common sense to you and I, but will suddenly completely dissipate from their minds when it comes to an anniversary.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of Karens wanting to speak to the manager that day.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, a lot of people, sadly, I know I don't want to like be pessimistic about it, and I want to think the best of everybody, but I think there's going to be a lot of people, as you said, just expecting something, expecting to be treated like royalty. And it's like, well, you know what? You're so privileged, as we are, to be in the Magic Kingdom on that day, on the 50th anniversary. Calm down, relax, enjoy it, just exist and stop expecting more than what you already have.
Yeah. What are you most looking forward to on our trip?
You know, as corny as this sounds, I'm just excited to hang out with you for the first time in a very long time, and Matthew and our friends Paul and Bart. I think as long as we can just remember that, like, how exciting this is, and what a great opportunity we've been given to be there and to be with each other. I think that'll make everything better and just more relaxing, just hanging out with friends. That's what I'm more excited about than anything. If we get on attractions, great. We've done them already. I think just the magic of being together in one of our favorite places on planet Earth is going to be really emotional and very exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you? Top that, Adam. Top that answer.
Merch.
If there's one thing we know about Adam.
No, I was talking with Paul, who will be going on the trip with us the other day, and just saying how great it will be to spend time in Walt Disney World with our friends again after kind of being apart for so long. And I think that's what will make the experience so special. I will be very pleasantly surprised if Parks and Experiences does have some kind of really wonderful special pop-up experiences, but it doesn't need to be that, right? I imagine there'll be some kind of short opening ceremony. Perhaps Chapek will be there. But beyond that, if it was just a day in the Magic Kingdom, I would take that.
Yeah, absolutely. I am excited to see the fireworks, the brand new fireworks that day in the Magic Kingdom itself. But we've even talked about this before, that even if we just pop in and get full of anxiety and go back to the resort, it'll still be a very special day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I won't be disappointed if we aren't there all day because of whatever. You know what I mean? Like just having that time with each other in a very special place is going to be a unique experience for us.
It will. It really will. It's going to be a fun trip. And as Patrick mentioned, if you're going to be there, we want to see you. We're actually going to have a very special announcement in next week's episode. And Patrick, we're doing our first ever Instagram Live next Sunday evening.
Very exciting. We have some special announcements for y'all.
So again, if you're going to be in Walt Disney World while we're there for the 50th anniversary, we want the chance to meet you, say hello, say thank you for listening to the podcast or following us on Instagram or however you're connecting yourself to us. We just want to say thanks.
We do. We absolutely do. We want to see you. We want to appreciate you. We want to take pictures with you. And as you said, stay tuned for September 26th, Sunday, September 26th, for an Instagram Live event.
That evening, I'm assuming?
Sometime that evening, who can say? We'll drop some hints about exactly what time. We won't like make you be glued to your phone, but you should be glued to your phone anyways, waiting for us to say something. You know?
Yeah. And with that, Patrick, we are fresh out of tea.
My teacup hath runneth over and it is now fully gone.
Do you read tea leaves? Do the tea leaves at the bottom of your cup spell out anything for your future?
It always says danger. I don't know what it means, though.
Well, Tweedles, we'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on the topics that we covered today? You can, of course, reach out to us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at GDTD Podcast.
That's right. And also let us know what topics we should cover in the future. And you can always email us or leave us a voice memo at info@gaysdothed.com.
Do you think there'll be any celebrities in the Magic Kingdom on October 1st?
Other than us?
Yeah, okay, other than us.
I hope so. I'm hoping Mickey Mouse might be there.
Unexpected, yeah.
Maybe Donald Duck might be there.
Who would have thunk?
Oprah possibly might be there.
Now there's a jump.
She's just as important as Mickey Mouse is, and us as well.
Is Oprah a Disney fan?
Not according to A Wrinkle in Time, but...
What?
That movie was garbage, and it was the opposite of a love letter to Disney.
Hey, Patrick.
Hey, Adam.
We have reached the end of the episode, and that means it's time for Quick D.
Huzzah! The quickest D there's ever been.
This week, we are doing Classic Quick D. For those of you that don't know, Classic Quick D is when Patrick and I ask each other a question we have not been privy to prior to recording this episode, and we answer it off the cuff.
Off the gosh darn cuff. I love it. Quick D. Let's do it. Let's get into some quick and some D.
It's all happening right now. Patrick, give me your question.
Oh, I like it. All right, Adam. I'm making it up as I go because I did not do my homework prior to recording. Adam, as we know, the new restaurant Space 220 is opening in Epcot very soon, and reservations are going to be open very soon. They just released a sneak peek at their menu, but there's a secret menu as well.
Oh.
There's a Gaze to the D Space 220 menu. Walk me through some items on that menu, Adam.
All right, first up, fish sticks.
Space 220, sponsored by Vandicamps.
Why not, right? I mean, Disney loves a sponsor for something, so why not? Get some fish sticks in that restaurant, please.
And it's called Eat the Fish, bitch.
Eat the fish, bitch. Love it. Everyone will love it. All the gays will be ordering it. Next up, Baked Alaska.
Confession, I don't have any idea what a Baked Alaska is.
I think it's ice cream inside of a cake dome, and it's baked. The ice cream is like baked quickly in the cake dome so that it's like a hot and cold situation.
Okay, great. Makes sense to me. I'm interested.
And it's a reflection of our relationship, hot and cold.
It is. It's really true. It's really true. Who's inside of who, though?
Oh my, Patrick.
I mean, just edibly. Nope, that's even worse. I don't know.
Yeah.
We have to move on to the next item on the menu.
We do. And it is, of course, artichoke dip.
I want to eat there. Everything you're describing right now sounds perfect. An artichoke dip followed by some fish sticks and dessert.
Yeah, who cares about the actual menu? The Gays to the D secret menu at Space 220 is where it's at.
It is where it's at. And yes, I do want extra bread. Thank you for asking.
All the bread. In fact, if the plates and the utensils are bread, we'll take that too.
Everything's edible at Space 220.
And as a special added bonus, did you know that when you do order the Gays to the D secret menu at Space 220, Patrick and I appear on the screens doing a little gay spacewalk together, and our jetpacks are excreting rainbow glitter.
I give you a very different moonwalk. You know what I mean?
I don't know what you... Oh, I just got it. I'm
talking about my butt, Adam. I just press my cheeks firmly against the windows.
It's going to be so cold on your tush in space, Patrick.
It is. And I misused the word firm. There's nothing firm about my butt.
A little jiggle when you wiggle.
More than a little.
So there you have it, folks. Get those reservations now because you're not going to want to miss the Gays to the D secret menu.
Now I want fish sticks.
They do sound good, don't they? When's the last time you had fish sticks?
Like when I was 7, I think, paired with a delicious macaroni and cheese.
You know, when you say fish sticks fast enough, it sounds kind of funny.
It makes me giggle.
All right, Patrick. Here is my question for you.
Thank you so much. I'm ready.
We've kind of been seeing dribs and drabs of 50th anniversary merchandise. You know, Disney loves to celebrate any kind of anniversary, any kind of moment for them. And there's some special merchandise coming out for the 50th. But Disney has really gone above and beyond with this celebration. And they are branding some truly unique merchandise this go around. What kind of unique merchandise is Disney branding for the 50th?
Such a great question that you ask, Adam. So many unique branded items. They're actually selling puppies.
Oh,
Adam, Disney puppies.
Oh, like real alive puppies?
Real alive puppies, absolutely. And they're poodles who have been given haircuts in the shape of your favorite Disney character, kind of like a topiary in Epcot.
Okay, so expect a lot of dogs walking around the parks.
Absolutely. A lot of poodles, topiary poodles, puppyaries is what they're calling them.
Puppyaries, branded puppyaries.
That's just one of many unique branded items that Disney is selling this year for the 50th anniversary. Also, Disney branded toilet tissue.
Oh.
Yep. Now you can wipe with your favorite Disney character.
I'm conflicted on this one, buddy.
Sponsored by Poopery. Actually, so all those favorite Disney scents you can now spray into your toilet. So when you're going number 2, you can smell like Winnie the Pooh. Whenever you smell orange groves, you'll know that I'm using the restroom.
Okay.
Doesn't that sound delicious, Adam? That's not the right word I mean, but I used it. I used the word delicious for going to the potty.
So far we have topiary dogs.
Puppyaries, Adam. Puppyaries.
Puppyaries. And poo products.
That's right. And Winnie the Poopery. I think we should market that for real. Oh, shut it down. That will do it for this episode of Gays Do the D. Thanks for listening. To become a patron of the podcast, visit our website at gaysdothed.com/donate. For a donation of any amount, you can receive exclusive Gays Do the D content and help us continue to bring you the very best Disney news and discussion. Continue the conversation after this episode on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at GDTD Podcast. Submit your questions or show ideas to info@gaysdothed.com. Have a great week, everybody. See ya real soon.